Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, Team Support Call of Duty World War II. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So as I'm sure you guys have all heard, over the course of the past week, Sledgehammer Games has been receiving a ton of flack from the community about the way that they're handling DLC weapons. A lot of people are fed up with being forced to rely on supply drop RNG to obtain new guns, and they're really putting the pressure on Sledgehammer to either update the system or go back to the old way of doing things where we had those daily weapon orders available at Major Howard. This is especially true over on the Call of Duty World War II subreddit, because dozens of threads are made every single day about this topic, and Sledgehammer has finally responded to one, which I will be covering here in this video. So the post in question is coming in from Crusader of Old, who says we need to go easy on Sledgehammer and stop calling them disgusting and pathetic, and that DLC weapons are pretty easily obtained if you just grind for them. Now, the second part of that post I wholeheartedly disagree with. The reason why people are complaining in the first place is because we are grinding, but we're not getting anything in return because we're reliant on luck to obtain the new guns. At least with the old order system, which definitely needed updating, we had a direct avenue to obtain the new weapons as they came out, whereas this new system has us completely reliant on supply drop luck and weekly contracts, which, let's be honest here, weekly contracts are a slap in the face, because ever since Blitzkrieg started, the weekly contract weapons have been the GPMG, which, all things considered, it's a pretty weak light machine gun that came out 5 months ago, and the other weapon has been the Ice Pick, which is a melee weapon that came out 5 months ago. To pretend that this is even a remotely fair system when compared to a game like Infinite Warfare is just silly, but I do agree with the notion in his post that nothing productive is accomplished when fans resort to name-calling, and they pretend that their name-calling is constructive criticism. It's a big problem in the gaming industry as a whole. Fans are super passionate about a game, they want changes to be made about a game, but they go about making those changes in the worst way possible. So hypothetically, let's say we all want the SVT-40 to be nerfed, because that gun's wildly OP, right? It's not, I get it, it's an example, right? So we're going to be nerfing the SVT-40, we want that gun to be changed. How we go about doing that is we tweet to Sledgehammer, we make videos, we make Reddit posts, and we break down the stats. We talk about how good that weapon is compared to other weapons, and we make a real case for why the weapon needs to be nerfed. Then Sledgehammer may make some changes based on that feedback. Now, the wrong way of going about getting a change made in a game like Call of Duty World War II is to start assaulting the developers with anger and slander and hatred, because when they see that, they are likely going to dismiss that feedback entirely, which means you are actually being counterproductive to the project at hand. Like, if you want a gun to be nerfed, or a game mode to be added, or a change to be made, if you're respectful with your feedback and you're consistent with that feedback, they will likely see that and likely take it into consideration. But if you're just swearing at them and calling them names, they're likely not going to take you seriously at all. Well, a couple of hours after the post was made, getting back to that here, Sledgehammer actually responded to it, and that's very interesting because they never respond to feedback regarding supply drop weapons, and what they had to say was pretty interesting. So in the response, they said, and I quote, "We do agree that the words disgusting and pathetic are not really in the spirit of being constructive, but we do understand players' frustrations. We really do. When you love a game, you want it to be the best it can be. We share that sentiment too. We want our game to be the best it can be, so we get where people are coming from. We don't let it faze us. We know that the community cares, and we care about you too." Now, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but that response seems to indicate that Sledgehammer is completely aware of our concerns regarding supply drop weapons, and they understand why it's making us so frustrated, and then they go on to say that they want the game to be the best it can be, which seems to indicate that they will be making some changes based on our feedback. If there's one thing that we've learned over the course of the Call of Duty World War II lifecycle, it's that when the community really wants something and they put their mind to something, Sledgehammer will typically give fans what they want, whether that was the health regeneration changes, or going back to the beta when they changed up the map Aachen, or the divisions overhaul, or the sprint out time changes. They are willing to change the game based on community feedback, and right now the entire community is talking about supply drop weapons, and they actually responded to the community, which seems to be a pretty good sign. Of course, I will keep you guys up to date with more information as it becomes available. I just really hope that Activision allows these changes to be made, because it's been widely speculated for a while now that Activision is the reason why supply drops are the way they are, and developers are kind of just forced to do what Activision tells them to do. But of course, we really have no idea. They are usually very tight-lipped about this kind of thing, which is why it's such a big deal that a developer responded to feedback regarding DLC weapons. Most of the time, they just ignore it entirely, which seems to indicate, once again, that maybe some changes are going to be made, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they will say something tomorrow with their weekly community update. Again, as always, I will keep you guys up to date with more information as it becomes available, but for right now, I would like to change gears entirely. The first first half of this video was dedicated to talking about the news regarding supply drop weapons, and the second half of this video I want to dedicate to paint jobs here in Call of Duty World War II. I know the two are not even related really whatsoever, but ever since Sledgehammer added the paint shop with the Blitzkrieg event, I have seen so many awesome creations, and I really just want to share some of them with you guys here in the video and shout out all the people who are out there making these creations because they really are fantastic, and I think you guys are going to be blown away by how good some of these actually look. First up, we have Galaxy by Baby G, and I'm honestly having a hard time believing this was made in the World War II paint shop because I've tried using the paint shop. My paint jobs are really bad. And I look at this one, it looks freaking incredible, but that's only the first one I'm going to be sharing with you guys here today, because next up we have Zim, who recreated the Spectrum camo from Call of Duty Ghosts and did a very good job of taking all the colors and shading them together. Here we have a Fallout Nuka-Cola themed paint job by SXP. That's a really awesome idea. Here we have I Smile and his incredible solo jazz pattern paint job. I don't think anything is quite as 90s as the solo jazz pattern. Here we have an incredible Modern Warfare 2 design by Josh Orban, and I would really love to see, as much as I love this one, I would love to see somebody create a full Modern Warfare 2 design that covers the entire weapon. That would be incredible. And speaking of Modern Warfare, here we have the Exclusion Zone camo by StyleX, and we have another one that was created by James Sink HD, both of which look fantastic. Here we have an ice cream themed camo by Legendary Mikes. Now I've got to say, just looking at this here, it's interesting how different creators are able to implement their own specific art styles when it comes to making their paint jobs, because here we have Chantel, and I'm not sure what she calls this, but to me it kind of looks like a Spectrum cotton candy vibe almost. Here we have a Simpsons Duff Beer paint job by Powderon. Here we have a full Adidas themed paint job by Sneaky Fat Panda. Very well done there. Here we have a Dark Matter design by Matt, and we even have some NerosCinema themed camos that some fans were kind enough to send over. Thank you guys so much. I love seeing stuff like this. I could keep on going. Believe me, I have seen hundreds of awesome creations over the course of the past couple of days alone, but we would be here all day if I were to share every awesome creation that I've seen, because there are so freaking many of them. So I would like to end off the video here, but before I do so, I would like to say that I'm happy that Sledgehammer has finally broke their silence, so to speak, on the DLC weapon issue, because if they fix that problem with the game, then the future of Call of Duty War II is going to be incredibly bright, at least in my opinion, because everybody seems to agree that the Division's overhaul was an awesome update to the game. People are really enjoying the weapon balance updates and the health regeneration changes and the sprint out time changes and everything else I've talked about here in this video. The changes they made to Call of Duty War II have by and large been very good. They're even changing up Domination pretty soon, right? So they're making lots of great changes, and if they make it so we can get DLC weapons easily like we could back during the Winter Siege event and the Resistance event, that would be a very good thing for the game going forward, and it would make a ton of people happy. We learned just recently that 13 new weapons have been added to the game files. I don't know about you guys, but I would be ecstatic if I knew for a fact I got every new weapon as it came out. Like the day it came out, bam, I got those new weapons. That would have me incredibly excited about the future of the game. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they will give us an update regarding that, because tomorrow is Friday. Therefore, we are going to be getting the weekly community update, and I'm hoping that in that update, they will say something regarding DLC weapons. Of course, I will keep you guys up to date with more information as it becomes available. Stay tuned for another video tomorrow covering what happens with the update, but I would also like to say here at the end that I'm hoping they plan to update the paint shop as well. A big reason why I wanted to feature all those paint jobs was, one, to shout out various members of the community. You guys are awesome. You guys keep sending me these things, and I love looking at them. But two, I want to show how good this system is and how it could be improved with a couple of simple updates. So the big one, of course, would be making it so we can download other people's creations. We need to be able to do that. Like, how many cool creations did I show you? Don't you wish you had that Dark Matter camo or the Modern Warfare 2 camo or the Exclusion Zone camo? Those things were fantastic. We should be able to download them, and I would also like to see them make it so we can expand the area in which we can work with, right? Because on certain weapons, like my personal favorite gun in the game is the Thompson, and the Thompson, they give you this tiny little area to work with. I wish we had more area to work with on that gun, whereas other guns like the PPSH, you can cover pretty much the entire weapon, right? So hopefully they plan to continue updating this system over the course of the coming weeks and months, and if they do, that would be a very good thing, because I really do feel as though a paint shop should be a staple feature in every Call of Duty game going forward. Like, the amount of customization that we have here is incredible. I just hope that they expand upon it in the near future. But ladies and gentlemen, I feel as though this video is already way longer than I want it to be, so I'm going to wrap things up here. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section below, and stay tuned for tomorrow for Sledgehammer's weekly community update. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop me a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.